name is ROBYN TANNER, and on today's episode, I want to talk to you about the push and the pull. And the push and the pull meaning that in-between state. A lot of you may have heard it called the gap, or it's the bridge in between. It's the messy middle. It's the place where you feel like you are a hot mess. And in my group coaching program that is going to be launching this August, school is going to be in session for us ladies, so be prepared. The rise is coming. I'm calling this place the Forge. So I'll get into that next week. I'm going to be doing a full series on all the phases of my program, The Rise. And this is really for the woman who is going through a transformation and a transition. You are in the middle of it. You are doing, you are trying, you are growing. You are going through some process in your life for better, for more, for different, for a change, because you know you're made for more, because you're starting a new job. You're in some type of period and phase in your life where you are about to be catapulted into the next thing that is waiting for you. And I promised when I started this podcast, The Daily Fight, that I would be sharing with you like real raw, like where I'm at in this journey, because I wanted to document what it's like in real time. And it's scary and it's hard and it's messy and it's ugly and it's awkward. So this is where we're at on this Thursday, the push and the pull of pulling you back to who you used to be, what you used to do, how awesome you used to be, or what trauma you went through, what pain, what pressures, all of the things. It's that used to state, that past self that pulls you backward. And if you've read my book, The Machete mentality, you know I talk a lot about surrendering your old self, but it pulls you backward. Old habits, old mindsets, old beliefs, old ways, old situations, people, all of the things that you used to do, whether it was successful, whether it was painful, they resurface. And this happened to me this week, so much so that I was ready to just like throw in the towel and walk away and quit, almost to the point, not full-blown panic attack. I've had those before, but just brought me to tears, racing heart, the stress, the anxiety of it all, that feeling of out of alignment. I don't want to be here anymore. And I'll tell you the story in just a second. And then you have that push forward, right? That thing that you get up and you drive for it every single day. You just have this motivation and this determination that you want this to happen. You believe it. You've seen it happen in other people. God's put it on your heart. You've worked so hard for it. I'm 9 years into my business. Like, I'm not stopping now. I've got resolve. I am relentless because I know that everything that I'm working on, you know, the successes and even the failures, all of the choices, all of the mistakes, all of the learning, all of the growing, that it is ultimately every day pushing me forward into that next phase, that next step, that next thing that I am after. And this week, for those of you that don't know me, I'm a fighter, I'm an overcomer, I'm a warrior, I'm a fight for your future self. The whole premise of everything that I do is to wake your warrior, to feel alive, to do things with passion and energy and excitement, to rise above, to be resilient, to stand for something, to communicate how you're feeling, to not apologize for it, to take bold action, to be fearless for it, to be alive for it, to just let it flow from you. And this isn't a state from manipulating or forcing or controlling, but really ultimately a place of surrendering, which is a fight for some of us who are tough, who are strong, who have, been independent and bootstrapped our way through life and had that, machete mentality, the make a way, find a way, duct tape, zip ties. You've heard me talk about that, put some elbow grease behind it. You get my drift. And so I've come from a place with a fitness background. I've been in the coaching industry for 26 years. I started working out when I was 15 and I started training at 19. And my entire life has really revolved around fitness and working out and exercising as a way for me to grow, to serve others, to help others, to teach others, and then also a place for me to grow and stretch myself, to be healthy, to look good, to feel good, but also of a place for me to channel my pain, my trauma, my past, anytime I'm under pressure or stress. So this might also be your go-to. We all have our go-to thing, and exercise has always been one of mine, and intense exercise, HIIT training, CrossFit, working out, heavy, hard workouts, very intense. If I'm not sweating, then I don't feel like I'm that person. And as I've been growing and developing and learning and studying about becoming future me and who I want that to look like, and embodying the character of my future self before I am her, that forged place, right? That what you hear commonly known as the gap, but for me, it's a forging place. It's hard to be in the uneasiness and the awkwardness of this, but lately it has been on my heart for me to do more calming activities, more calming exercises. I've been doing P-Volve. I've been doing Pilates and bar work, more stretching, more mobility, things like that that are a little bit calmer that still make me feel powerful, but that brings some peace to me instead of boxing and high intensity interval training and running really hard. Just trying to get my body and my nervous system self-regulated into me a place where I can still do the fitness and do the exercises at a level that I want to, while also being able to calm myself and regulate myself into different levels of awareness for my body, for my mental state, my emotional state. So there might be something in your life right now, and I want you to think about it, that you are trying to become this person. You are trying to learn new habits, new behaviors, new mindsets. Maybe it's a new job or a new relationship. Maybe it's with your kids and parenting, whatever it might be. It might be circled around money. It might be taking care of your parents, whatever it might be, that you're just in this state where you know you're being defined and shaped and stretched and grown, much like you do when you're going to the gym. And I had recently joined the gym after I retired from group fitness and personal training for so many years, to go back to the gym with my husband. It was something that we could do together. He was working on his health and his fitness. So it started out like from a place of connecting with my husband and doing it together, motivating each other, holding each other accountable. And then I had surgery. And so I've had to take 12 weeks off for the surgery. And recently I got to go back, and I found myself um, watching the people, looking at the machines, the noises, the crowd, the exercises, the stress that I was about to put on my body. And I literally was just, I was brought to tears. I was completely out of alignment. I didn't feel I belonged there anymore. And I am someone that walks into a gym like I own it. I have confidence. I do everything with authority. And this was something that just took my breath away. And I wasn't full out ugly crying or anything like that. But with my husband, I'm sitting there on the bench while we're resting in between supersets, of course, shoulder presses, and I don't even remember what else. And I'm leaning over and I'm looking at him square in the eye, and I am crying, and my heart is racing. I'm just looking around, panning everything like I don't belong here. This isn't who I am anymore. This is what I used to do. This is not what I want to do anymore. I'm ready to quit. Let's walk out. Let's cancel the gym membership. I'm done with this. Peace out. Sayonara. Get me the hell out of here. And this was my love. This was my heart. This was my home. For 27 years, I have basically lived in a gym, and I literally lived in a gym for 6 months. But that's a whole nother story and podcast. So is there something in your life that is familiar, that you've always done? You've always known it. It's comfortable for you. It's easy for you. It's where you've been strong. It's where you've been a winner. It's where you've been successful. That this is a place where you can just walk in and you know exactly what to do and you own it, right? So, I mean, if it's your job, your relationships, your friendships, your social circle, your community, the boards you sit on, whatever it might be, a hobby, a passion, anything. But that place in between, that unknown, that uncertainty, it's like a rabbit hole of hope, but also so much fear. And battling that really put me in a state of wanting to immediately withdraw, almost catastrophize the situation with a lot of drama, make a mountain out of a molehill. It's something my dad always used to say. And I was ready to throw in the towel. Luckily, I do a lot of personal development work for a living. I knew to just push pause. I knew that like going to that extreme was not the answer. I didn't need to quit. I didn't need to stop, having gym dates with my husband. I didn't need to stop strength training. Ladies, you don't need to stop strength training. Please don't do that. But what I did need to do was what I was missing out on from future me. I had stopped because of the surgery, because of doing the gym dates with my husband. I had stopped doing the thing that was connecting me and aligning me and getting me closer to future me, which is the Pilates and the bar and the P-volving and the more calming, peaceful, powerful workouts that allowed me and my body, because I do have chronic pain. I have a partial dead leg. I've got a lot of degenerative issues with my body. I'm missing part of my spine. All of these things, I needed something that was going to still help me strengthen, my muscles and protect my joints as I'm growing and aging, but also something that made me feel alive, that calmed my nervous system, that still made me feel powerful and in charge and in control, while giving my body the stretching and the resting and the relaxing and the mobility and the different angles that it needed, which I was getting from those things, but I stopped doing them. And we often do that in life because we are pulled back into the old. We're pulled back into the old habits, attitudes, beliefs, mindsets. And for me, it was the gym setting. It was the intensity of the gym. It was that level of hard, that level of tough at the gym. And now I'm not saying that when you go to the gym, it always has to be tough. It always has to be hard. It absolutely doesn't. But that's me. That's the old me. And that me still surfaces a lot. And there is pieces of that me that I like, that I want to protect, that I want to keep and bring forward. But right now, current me, and I'm sharing this with you in hopes that it connects somehow, because current you is almost under a constant state, like that big old light, interrogation light. I feel like I'm sitting at the table with Benson and Stabler, and I'm being interrogated every day on how I'm living and if I'm growing and if I'm measuring up, and did I serve today? Did I help today? Did I do something purposeful and meaningful? Was I alive? Did I live congruent with who I'm supposed to be? And that's exhausting and it's tiring. And I'm trying to come to a place where I'm not always under interrogation. I'm not always reviewing and coaching myself, that I can just be present, that I can be still. And in order to do that now, I have to adopt those practices that future me does. And for me right now, that is the P-volving and the Pilates and the bar work and the less strenuous and the less intense, because my mindset is still intense. Physically and spiritually, I need something to balance that, to counter the hardness and the toughness that I like about me. But I need a little bit softer energy. And it was just eye-opening that I realized, which is the first step when you start to become, is having that awareness and realizing this is out of alignment. Is your heart racing? Are you having little panic attacks? I get irritable. I get frustrated. I get agitated very easily. Those are red alerts notifying you that restlessness inside, that these are, it's not that it's okay, that it's not okay. It's not that it's bad. It's not that it's ugly. It's not that you're doing something wrong. It's not that you're broken. It's not that you have to fix something. It's just that you're out of alignment, that you're going back to the old ways, the used tos. And even if they were successful then, they may not be successful now, and they may certainly not be coming with you into future you. So I'm hoping that you can connect and relate with that today, because I was ready to throw in the towel. I was ready to quit. I was ready to tell my husband, I'm not doing this anymore. You're on your own. Peace out. Forget this. I can't do it, and walk away, because that turbo in me, which is my inner little beast and my inner intensity level, that will skyrocket, right? And start to become um, out of control with the emotions and my responses and the way that I'm communicating in the world. And I have learned how to dial that up and dial that down. But when you're when you're pulled back into the place that you don't want to be anymore, you want to be aware of your body and what it's telling you, the feelings, like how you're physically feeling, because then you'll start to notice the mental and the emotional and the spiritual part of it. If you're crying, if your heart is racing, if you're anxious, if you're overwhelmed, if you feel like you're suffocating and you can't breathe, if you're agitated, if you're short with people, if you lose your temper more over things that logically, you probably shouldn't be, losing your temper. You probably shouldn't be feeling like this, or you're, making that mountain out of the molehill. You're catastrophizing. There's too much drama. There's too much chaos. You're out of whack. And in order to reconnect with that, the first step is really just to pause, to stop, to take a breath, to take a beat, to zoom out, to observe before you proceed. Right? So before you do all of those things, you want to stop. And there's an acronym for it that's a little bit more lengthy. I'm sure you can Google it and find, but basically what I just said, stop, take a breath, zoom out, observe, almost like you're a different person watching you. And then what is it before you proceed? What can you do differently? What's your next best step of action? Was it quitting? Some of you might need to quit. Some of you need to walk away. And tomorrow I'm actually dropping my 5 main quit zones. I used to call them battlefields. We can call them whatever we want. We test a lot of things in the coaching world and the marketing world to see what catches and what connects. That's why I'm even playing around with the forge, because this is where you're hammered. This is where you're strengthened. And that gap just feels like something's missing. And I don't think something's missing in the gap. I think you're just in that in-between state where you're getting ironed and you're getting sharpened and you're getting refined, and it's hot there. And usually, right, like fire is hot, you step back, and that's when you're getting pulled back into the old you. And that's not what we want to do. We have to withstand the heat. We have to be able to endure in order to get through the transformation and come out the other side future you. But you got to act from a place of future you. You have to be, and you have to do the things that future you would do, not what current you would do, and certainly not what old you would do, what past self you would do. And so listening to your body, stopping, observing, taking a breath, pushing pause before you act, before you respond, before you do any emotional decisions. Take a breath from it. I'm not quitting the gym. I'm still going to go. But guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to start doing more of the things that future me wants to do, that 2-3 years from now, this is all she will do. She probably won't go to the gym and do the hard workouts and do those things. She will do all of these other forms of exercise and strengthening and mobility. I love to dance. I'm a boxer at heart, but I love to dance. It allows me to express myself and I have fun doing it. Plus it regulates my nervous system. So just different things like that. You want to make sure that you're doing the things that future you would do. The thing that I talked about it on a podcast. I don't remember which episode it was, but it was probably sometime maybe earlier this week or last week, that shouldville. You should do the thing that you should do. So if you feel like doing a dance class, do a dance class. If you feel like doing Zumba, do Zumba. If you feel like you want to go box and hit some things, go box and hit some things. Like I'm talking about in the gym. Don't go actually hit anything. Or you can go to one of those smash rooms if you need to. But my point being, without being so funny about it, is this is serious if you are in a transformative state. If you are in the gap, in the messy middle, in a transition, if you're in the in-between, if you're in the unknown, but you know, right? Like you know, but it's just not happening yet. You don't see it. You're walking by faith, and it's a hard place to be. And anybody that tells you otherwise is lying, or they have long forgotten what it's like to be in that place. But I'm telling you right now, like if you can withstand that heat, if you can keep going, if you can see the pieces that are eventually going to come together, and you don't get caught up in one of the quit zones, make sure you come back tomorrow and listen to this, because I'm going to be going over there. There are 5 quit zones in your life. And if you don't get caught up in those, and you can just keep taking step after step, being aware when you get pulled back, and you keep pushing yourself, and you keep pushing yourself in a way that you can handle it mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, in a way that you're not having, right, the mini panic attacks, or you're suffocating and you start to overthink, and you start to catastrophize, or you're delaying, or you're avoiding, or you're isolating. We all have our coping mechanisms. We all have those like surface level habits that we're doing that kind of keep us safe here in this little bubble of who we are now. But if you are into personal development and personal growth, and you're made for more, and you want to keep going, or you're an entrepreneur and a business owner, or you're a parent and you're trying to be a better role model for your kids, whatever it might be for you, it really doesn't matter. Even if you're a team leader, you don't want to be under that constant, sitting at the table being interrogated. You don't want that light always shining on you, like you've done something wrong, or you're doing something wrong because you can't keep up your routine or your rhythm. That's just where we need to adjust. And you got to make sure that you're adjusting it from a place of future you, and you're not adjusting it from a place of your current situation or your old self. So I hope this helps somebody today. Push yourself, keep pushing yourself forward into the future you. What does she want? What does he want? What does it look like? Paint the picture, make it a movie. I've been saying this for years, and it's out there now into this personal growth world. And when you're transforming your life, that make it a movie, build that character so that you can see it and witness it in your mind and play it out. And especially as a writer, like we create these characters and I'm walking it out, and I want you to walk it out with me. And when you become aware of those moments and you find yourself sitting on a bench and you're crying and your heart is racing, in a place where you used to love, where you used to thrive, where you used to be awesome and amazing and you loved it and it was your go-to, and you're realizing that this is no longer a place where you want to spend, 80% of your time for your physical activity or for your mental health, that it doesn't work for you anymore. When you become aware of that, like that's the first piece of the puzzle, so that you can question right here and start to act from a place and add more of those things in. And the last piece that I'll say is that it's okay. It's okay to be in the struggle. It's okay to be struggling with this. It's okay to not know. It's okay to be in the messy middle. It's okay to call yourself a hot mess. It's okay to recognize those things because you're aware. What's not okay is to stay there. What's not okay is to quit on yourself. And that's what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow. So I hope you join me back. My name is ROBYN Tanner. You can always comment below. Make sure you share this, subscribe to it, and rate it. This is The Daily Fight. Peace out.